Community Trust in Rural Industries project is a multi-year program of research to understand the nature of the relationship between rural industries and the Australian community to help rural industries build deeper, stronger relationships with the Australian people. So trust is really important in the relationship between Australian rural industries and the Australian community because it is the benefit of the doubt when things go wrong. It's the space to operate, it's the freedom to innovate without fear of failure, and it's really the space in which Australian rural industries can build deeper, more reflexive ways of operating. The three key takeaways from the first year of this research project are that we understand the nature of the relationship between Australian community and Australian rural industries, and that trust is dependent on the environmental responsibility of Australian rural industries, on the responsiveness of Australian rural industries to community concerns, and the third driver of trust, which is the quality and important role that Australian rural industry products play in the lives of Australians. The second key takeaway is that while trust and acceptance in Australian rural industries is strong currently, there's a lot of uncertainty about those issues that underpin that trust and acceptance. And so there's a real opportunity for Australian rural industries to get into that space, to fill that vacuum and to build a narrative around the way that it operates. The third key takeaway from the first year of the project is that Australians overwhelmingly believe that environmental responsibility is a shared responsibility across all of the industries in the rural industry sector. Typically in this work, the first step is to really have a look at your own industry through the eyes of the Australian community. And that's what this data allows you to do. And to really reflect on what your practice looks like from their perspective, and then to evaluate your practice against those community expectations. The next step is to think about how you align your activities with community expectations and engage with them about how you're doing that. That's really the most critical part here, to demonstrate that you're listening, to demonstrate that you're taking real action. If industry does nothing with this kind of research and insight, really loses an opportunity to build a stronger relationship with the Australian community, to understand and align its practice with their expectations, to engage critical industry stakeholders like regulators, like policymakers, like interest groups around the difficult issues that it needs to make progress against, and really loses that opportunity to operate on its own terms, to define its own future. That's really the key opportunity that may be missed. I think success in this space has two faces. For Australian rural industries, it's freedom to operate. It's the power to control their own destiny and timeline for their progress against internal targets around critical issues like animal welfare, like the use of chemicals, like environmental responsibility. And the other phase is that by demonstrating trustworthiness, the controls that are placed on industry may be relaxed and they have more freedom to operate, more room to innovate, and more ability to focus on what they're best at, which is producing amazing high quality products.